Welcome, and in today's video we're gonna be taking a look at the CNC X1. Now CNC hit me up and they said, hey, do you want to try this machine? I said sure, send it my way. They did, so here we are. We're gonna break it down, we're gonna talk about the specs, we're gonna go through the machine, we're gonna run some lines and whatnot on some fake skin, and then we're gonna bust out the leg again and run a few lines there. So if you guys are ready to do all that, then let's go. Alright guys, so here it is. I didn't open it yet. I wanted to set everything up, record this so we can have first impressions. So nonetheless, let's jump into it. Here's the box it comes in, similar to our last CNC machine. So let's get down to business. So let's open it up. It opens a little bit better than the last one. Okay, so in the box right off the top we have a manual. I highly encourage you read this manual. And we have some O-rings and an Allen key down there. Again, I'm sure if we read the manual, we're gonna know what that goes to. Lastly, here we go. Machine. Let's open this up. First, before we open it up, I want to say it feels pretty nice. Feels pretty nice. Ooh. Yeah, buddy. That looks nice. That feels nice. Weird to say, but it feels nice. It has a nice weight to it. It feels substantial. Nice. All right, we'll set that there. See what else is in the box. Don't mind my black on my finger there. I was doing some painting. All right. Okay. And next up we have a clip cord. Nice. And a piece of foam. And some more foam. And inside of here, it looks pretty similar to the last clip cord they sent with the other machine, with the CNC X1. Very similar style clip cords here. Nothing really to say on this. Standard operation. So real quick, like I always do, I want to compare this to the other CNC machine that I've used, the X2. I can't speak for any other ones, but the CNC X2 has been awesome for me, and I'm looking forward to really trying this X1 and putting it through its paces as well. But here is a side-by-side comparison of the X1 and the X2. Now the X2, when I got it, I was surprised it was this small. This was remarkably small to me, but it performed really well. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this one performs. On top of that, we'll take a quick look next to the Cheyenne. And as you can see, it's about the same height. Now my Cheyenne, I shaved a little off because I modified some stuff. So it would be wireless, but nonetheless, it is about the same height as the X1. So no big change here. It's not some giant piece of equipment. In fact, in a lot of ways, this had a much smaller grip on it, whereas this has a little bit more of a grip. No big deal, we wrap these things in grip tape anyhow, but this feels really nice in the hand. It's got a nice weight on the backs where it just really, it feels good, okay? If you take a close look at the machine, you'll see it is equipped with a Maxim AMAX motor, and they left a cutout there so you can specifically see the motor, and you can see the writing on the motor. I thought it was pretty cool. It looks pretty snazzy. It has a really smooth feel to it. So before we go any further and mess with this machine and try it out and do all that stuff, we got to learn a little bit more about it. So let's get to that. Okay, the X1 comes in at a length of 120 millimeters, has a grip diameter of 30 millimeters, a weight of 182 grams. It has a stroke of 3.2 millimeters. Needle protrusion is anywhere from 0 to 4 millimeters, with a recommended operating voltage from 9 to 13 volts. The heart of the Maxim A motor is the ironless Maxim winding. You can find the X1 on the CNC website, and is also available on Amazon. It comes in at $339, and I'll put a link in the description if you want to check it out. So with all of that said, let's get back to it. So let's set this machine up. Let me get some needles in here. We'll get a power supply on and let's hear it run. The CNC Q2 is compatible with most needle configurations, most cartridge types, different brands, though they do, like most companies, suggest you use their brand of needles, and that is Rain. I talked about them a little bit in my last video when we were stimpling, and I used their 3-round liners and thought they performed quite well. Nonetheless, these are the needles we're loading into our machine, so let's get that. Clicks in quite nicely. We can rotate our needle depth here. You're gonna hold this portion right here and rotate the back, or hold the back and rotate the front. However it works out for you. Here's where things get weird. I tell you to read the manual, do all that stuff, but at the same time, I'm going to break those rules. It says it needs to be hooked up to an RCA cable like this and ran to a power supply. But I stopped using this stuff a while ago. I have it, but I just don't use it because it's not how I operate anymore. Wireless is how I like to run. So if I'm gonna use this machine, I'm gonna have to break the rules, and I'm gonna have to test it out long term and see how it does. CNC does say that it could damage the motor, or at least make it run not optimal. So nonetheless, breaking the rules, plugging this bad Larry in there. I currently have that humming away at 9 volts right now. It sounds really good, it feels really good, it's humming very nicely, and that again is with that wireless power supply. They say do not use it, they don't suggest it, but there's a lot of things people don't suggest. I'm gonna break the rules, I'm sorry, I'll let you know how it goes. And as you can see, as we rotate this, we allow our needle to protrude further from the tube, allowing you to adjust your depth, adjust how much needle hang you have, and whatnot, just like you would with any other machine, rotating just like that. Now I'm gonna get to running this on some fake skin. I'm gonna get to running this on some real skin. But real quick, I wanna break this down and let you guys take a look at it. So if we take off our power supply, and again, that's our needle. From here, this piece breaks down into a few parts. There's a set screw right here. You can spin this all you want, adjust your needles all day long. When it's time to take this off, this piece keeps this sleeve over top. So what you need is just a very small, just a regular screwdriver, and all you're gonna do is take this out. Now the manual says don't lose this screw because there are no extras. And sure enough, as soon as I opened it, as soon as I took this off, I dropped it on the floor and had to spend 20 minutes finding it. So it's true, there's only one, be careful with it. What I found to be the best to do is take it almost completely out and then just give it one like half turn back in. And that will keep it there. And you can pop it right off. So that is your grip, and inside of here is the mechanism that your needle clips into and adjusts back and forth. To get that back on there, slide this back over, just kind of move it a little bit with a little pressure down. You're gonna feel it clip in like that. You can screw this puppy right back down. And it still adjusts, no problem. This just keeps anything from getting out of alignment, the grip sliding off, any catastrophes. And if we move along to the back, we have the Maxim AMAX motor. And if we start unscrewing that, really nice threads, super buttery smooth. I'm just gonna roll that out of there very carefully. And here you have what's inside. It's all greased up. It's a swash plate here. It is set to this right angle, and over time this may push down, and we're referring to over time, you're using it a little bit. They have supplied the Allen key here. This Allen key you're put in here, loosen it up a little bit, slide that swash plate up a bit, and snug it back down. And all that does is that spinning in there at a perfect angle and pushing this little piece in here up and down. They recommend every once in a while putting a little drop of oil down in there to help keep things lubricated and running good. So we'll screw that back together. Just put it back in there very carefully. Gently start screwing and it will go together wonderfully. So in case you're wondering, no, you don't only have to use Ray needles. Those are the suggested needles from CNC to be used. I did try several other needles in here and they all clicked right in and right out. No problem whatsoever. So now I'm gonna get this puppy wrapped up, ready to rock, and we're gonna get some fake skin in here and start running a little bit of lines and playing with this thing and see what she does. And then finally, we'll take it to the skin and see how she does there. Okay, so let's run this thing through its paces real quick. I have it all set up, wrapped up. I'm gonna start off by loading a common needle I use a lot, which is a 9-round liner with a long taper. And that loads in there really nice, really nice. Again, I'm gonna take that power supply that I was using before. I currently have it at 9 volts and I'm gonna set my needle depth. This machine gives you a lot of diversity when it comes to how much needle you want thrown out of your tube. You have a lot of clicks. It moves slow, which is kind of nice, so you can refine how you like it. Okay, I'm gonna run my needles like this. So I'm gonna start off at 9 volts and see what happens. I'm curious to see how this machine runs with 3.2 millimeter stroke, and we're just gonna run this line. Now the line felt good, it felt smooth, it felt like it wanted to move, which was nice. So I'm gonna check to see how it turned out. Yeah, that turned out to be a solid line. All right, I'm gonna keep it the same. I'm gonna run it just a little bit, move my hand a little bit quick, and try to figure out what speed I need to be at to maximize my 9 volts. All right, let's do that again. I'm gonna try to move just a little bit quicker. And again, a pretty smooth line, a pretty straight, a pretty saturated line there. I'm kind of digging it for lining right now. We'll see how that feels in the skin, how that goes in the skin, but for now, I'm liking it at 9 volts. I'm gonna slow it down just a little bit, take it down to 8.7 volts. And it also performs quite well there. I'm gonna throw my needles out a little bit further. Yeah, that's not bad either. After just a little bit of running it, 8.7, 9 volts, I feel like that's where it wants to run for me. Prefer, I think, right around 9 volts. I'm gonna try it out on my skin and we're gonna see what happens then. Okay, I now have loaded in here is the 3-round liner from Rain. And if you remember from our last video, we used this needle when we were doing our stimpling. So I figured we'll load it back up and do a little stimpling with the 3 here. Now it's there, but it is pretty light. Now again, I'm running this machine pretty fast. The machine prefers to be run fast. I'm gonna bring this machine down to 6.3 volts and see how it performs there. And as you can see, at 6.3 volts, you do start to get some stimpling, and you can turn it down a bit lower even. I believe this motor likes to be ran a little bit higher, but nonetheless, if I'm using it, I'm gonna use it how I use it, and it's either gonna hold up or it's not. So far, it's only been a short bit, but it's been operating great. So I'm also gonna check the shading. They send some standard 14 curved mags in as well, so let's bust those out. And it goes in, clicks in nicely. I'm gonna turn this machine up to 8.1 volts. So there you can see we do get a nice little shading with this 15 curve mag. It seems to run fine. It felt good shading it. Again, we won't know anything until it's used. It's ran through some skin for a while and you really get an understanding of whether it's something you want to use every day or not. But for right now, I like it. So I'm gonna get a 9-round liner with a long taper, load it up in here, shave my leg, and we'll try this out on some real skin. So there it is on real skin. Now I will say I'm gonna have to mess with this a bit more to get more comfortable with it. I didn't find the lining on my skin to be exactly the way I want it, but that's the way it goes. You have to play with these machines a little bit. You have to get used to them. Every machine's a little different and you can't blame that on the machine. So nonetheless, I'm gonna mess around with this machine some more and we're gonna see how it does down the road and I'll let you know. And when we hit 100,000 subscribers, we'll be bagging this machine up and some other stuff and we'll be doing a giveaway. So stick around for that if you want to win this machine and some other stuff. So I hope if you were taking a look at the X1 and wondering if it was for you, I hope this video helped you make that decision. And if you're interested, all the stuff we use, links are in the description. So if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring the bell to get notifications when I post, when we go live, and all that fun stuff. So until next time, guys. Peace.